Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Oh boy. I'm actually live on both YouTube and Instagram at the same time. I don't know, I just felt like, why not? Why not if not? Well, basically, I'll be talking about it's just a very chilled, quick chat. I felt like I should, why not, instead of actually trying to make a YouTube video, why not just, go live right now and share my thoughts, you know. Yeah, just felt, yeah, I can just share my thoughts. And so it's going to be a very raw video, very direct. I'm not going to edit this. Yeah, so let's go. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing fine. I hope you enjoyed the holiday season. If you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Michael. Mikoko's Diary is the name of my channel. On this channel, I talk about life in Canada. I share my experience as an immigrant in Canada. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. Thank you for clicking on this live stream and or maybe clicking on this video when it gets to become a video. Yeah, and so basically, I just wanted to kind of share a recap for 2024. It's been an awesome time so far, and I just can't, I can't be thankful enough. God has been faithful. A lot of things have also happened in the year, from the beginning of the year and midway when we became Canadian citizens. And towards the end of the year, sometime last month, when we were able to actually travel for the first time in 4 years that we've been in Canada. So a lot of a lot of things to be thankful for. This year I got a chance to also, meet my mom after we left Nigeria for some years. So yeah, it's been an awesome year so far. I hope you're also doing fine. So basically in this video, I'm going to be talking about Canada, generally, just sharing my thoughts about, you know, moving to Canada. It's a question that I get from viewers occasionally, all the time. People want to know if it's worth it moving to Canada, especially as we go into a new year. And some people will be wondering, okay, so is it still worth it with the number of things that have happened in Canada this year? Is it still worth it to actually, pack one's life and decide to, move to a new country? Is it worth it? And in answering that question, what I would say is that it's a personal thing. It's a personal decision. So, of course, I'm going to share my thoughts, but at the end of the day, the decision to move out of your home country to a new country will always be a personal thing. It will always be a personal decision. No one can actually tell you what to do. You know, you are the one who knows your reason for even considering it in the first place. And of course, I know that Canada is one of the popular destinations for people who are looking to migrate outside of their country. People from maybe the less developed countries. Canada is one of the top destinations, as is the US, as is the UK. And the very interesting thing is that these three countries that I mentioned have recently had a lot of things change in their policies that guide immigration. That shouldn't surprise anyone because since the pandemic, a lot of things have changed. And these countries are reevaluating their decisions, they are reevaluating their policies. So if the top destinations in the West where people migrate to are now changing their migration rules. It tells you something. It tells you that something has changed. An average Canadian used to like migrants, used to encourage, used to be in support of immigration. Like an average, if you ask an average Canadian in the previous, say, 5 years, and ask them what do they think about people migrating into Canada, they would say it's a good thing, like it's helping the country, you know. But if you ask them today, the story has changed, and Canadians are, particularly no longer in support of immigration, and because of that, the government is tightening the rules and kind of closing the tap and limiting the number of people that can actually migrate into the country. And the reasons why this is happening would span. There are so many reasons. The first, maybe we'll talk about increase in housing costs. Cost of housing in Canada has skyrocketed. It's insane right now. And also the increase in the general cost of living, you know. And if you ask some people, they will tell you also that there are less job opportunities in Canada and also in the US and in the UK. These are the talking points. That there are less job opportunities, that there's low wages, which is caused by the influx of foreign workers, especially temporary workers who are usually, willing to accept low wages, maybe because of where they're coming from. And another reason would be pressure in healthcare. It's unfortunate now that the wait time at emergencies at the ER in Canada is unfortunately long, and occasionally we see news about people dying, after having waited for a long time before they're able to see a doctor and all that. In fact, I think I saw recently on social media of a man who went to the ER and he was asked to wait. And after waiting for about 6 hours, he went home and he died the next day because he had an issue, that could have been caught if the ER wasn't so busy, and if the staff at the ER were not so busy, and if they didn't have too many people to attend to. So that's also an issue. There's a lot of pressure on healthcare. There's a lot of pressure on infrastructure. So, you know, and also increase in crime rate. You see on social media where people talk about, oh, there's a lot of crime rate has increased, and of course, everybody blames the immigrants, if even though those things that are happening are not, are probably not the fault of immigrants. So it's just what is happening right now. A lot of things have changed, and things have changed in these places that, these countries that used to be the top, places where immigrants go to, immigrants like myself, anyways. Now, if you look at it, it seems like it's a global issue, and there's no perfect country, and there's no perfect society. So, if you're saying, do I really want to, come to Canada at this time? There are some factors that you should consider, and I will try as much as possible to quickly talk about these factors. Having mentioned the reason why people in the Western world are no longer in support of mass immigration. However, there are still some ways through which people, still migrate into these countries legally. There are still some legal ways to come in, and if you're considering these legal ways, there are some things you should put into consideration, especially in 2025, considering the global economy, considering the fact that things has been, kind of predicted to be a bit tight in the year 2025. If you're watching this right now, thank you. I appreciate you. I see you. I think I'm sharing on YouTube and I'm also streaming on Instagram. So if you're watching this on Instagram, please do well to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. And you can also drop something in the chat. At the end, this is going to be a quick chat. So I'll talk about if it makes sense to still come to Canada in the year 2025. And after that, it's just going to be a chat between me and you. If you have any questions for me, you can drop it in the chat box on YouTube. I won't be able to see the chat for Instagram because I can't use my phone, but you can drop the chats, any questions you have for me on YouTube, on this live stream on YouTube. And I think that my subscriber count is there. I'm trying to get to 4K before the end of this year. Yeah, just 2 days remaining in the year. So let's see how far we can get to that target. All right. So back to it. Okay. If you're considering coming to Canada in the year 2025, I would ask you to know your reason, like know the reason you are making that decision. Is it because of more opportunity? Are you trying to move out of your country so that you can come to Canada and look for a better job? You know, are you coming because of your kids? Are you trying to give your kids better opportunity? Or have you been praying about coming to Canada and it's an answered prayer for you? For example, for me and my family, me and my wife, when we were coming to Canada, it was an answered prayer for us. On our jobs from back home, we were already aching for some sort of change in our career. We're looking for something new, something better, right? For me, I had felt stuck on the spot on the job that I was doing from back home. And I wanted to kind of, move to somewhere where I would have better opportunity, where I would be able to maybe change jobs. And I was also looking for a place to start my family. I wanted to give my kids a better opportunity. But for the most part of it, I did it for myself, you know. So if you're considering moving in 2025, you need to know the reason. Because at the end of the day, migration is not for everyone. That is why you see people move to Canada or the US, and after some years, they move back. And statistics already shows it that a lot of people actually move back in the first 5 years of moving to Canada, because they probably find it that, oh, it's not a good fit for them. So you need to know the reason you're coming here. If you have a good job already, if you are financially stable in your country, then don't think you want to come to Canada just because of financial stability, because you already have what you think you're coming to Canada to get. And so that you are not disappointed, it's better to just stay put and not come to Canada, you know. And if right now you have good prospects in your career, I would say this is a time to actually take a pause and check to be sure that Canada is a good place for you. You need to sit back and do a lot of research. In fact, you can visit the country, visit Canada for a short time so that you can see what is actually happening here, especially in your career, in the industry where you work. Just so that you do not, throw away what you already have for something you are hoping for. So you need to also look at that. So depending on what your reason is, if you already have that thing you're looking for, don't throw it away to find something new in a new country. Because at the end of the day, there's this saying that the grass is greener on the other side, but it's actually greener, on the side that has been watered, right? So depending on your situation, if you're financially stable, and the reason you want to move to Canada is for maybe more finance or to make more money, or grow your wealth, then you may need to take a pause and visit Canada for a while and to see if it's actually a place that would work for you. Another thing is, it depends on where you're coming from, right? What country are you coming from? If if you are coming from somewhere in the tropics where the weather is nice, I would say you should make sure that you you've done a lot of research about Canada, especially about the different provinces and territories in Canada, so that if you're coming from somewhere that is in the tropics, somewhere warm, and you know that you would not like to live in a very cold place, then the place you would want to settle in Canada should be places that are a bit warm. Of course, everywhere is cold in Canada, but some places are really cold. Some places are colder, than others. So you need to also consider that. Do you like the cold? If you if you don't like the cold, then if you end up deciding to come to Canada, make sure you choose a province or a territory. All the territories are cold anyway. Choose a province that is not very cold, or make sure you choose a city that is not as cold as the coldest parts of Canada. You know, Another thing I wanted to talk about is for people who say they're coming to Canada to give their kids better opportunity. So I realized that, look, what type of opportunity are you talking about? Are you talking about the kind of education? If it is the kind of education and your kids don't have very maybe access to very good education in where you're coming from, then it makes sense, right? But if your kids already have very good quality education, and by quality education, I'm talking about the curriculum, I'm talking about what they actually teach in those schools, then you know that if you're coming to Canada and you want excellent curriculum, like something extra, not the normal teaching methods, you're going to have to do more work. You'll probably be looking at Montessori schools or private education for your children, because public education in Canada right now, if you go online, you would see that people complain every time about things that are being taught in schools. So if you're moving to Canada because of your kids, you're going to have to do a lot of research and a lot of work also, because they are not going to teach your students everything they need to know in school. So you're still going to do a lot of work. So if you're already doing all that work where you're coming from, don't think that coming to Canada is going to change anything. Or if you're not doing all the extra work to help your kids do well in school and all that from where you're coming from, don't think that when you get to Canada, then a magic is going to happen. Don't be deceived. In fact, it might even be worse, because now we see people considering taking their kids to private schools, considering taking their kids to back home in Africa to for schooling, and all that. So look at that factor also, you know. Um, but basically, at the end of the day, it's a personal choice. It's a personal decision for you to make. So make sure that you're making an informed choice. In If you're coming to Canada for the opportunities, know that when you get to Canada, you're going to face a lot of challenges. It's not going to be easy. So that you don't join the group of people who are always complaining about, oh, I moved to Canada and oh, they asked me to, to start over and all that. Prepare your mind that it's going to take a lot of work, right? You might not get that choice kind of work that you were doing from back home, or that you think, And basically, I know it's not, and it's not the fault of us immigrants that a lot of the time we get to actually take a role a bit lower than what we were doing from back home, but because of the system in place in Canada. So they keep asking you for Canadian experience. So if you're a newcomer in Canada, how do you get that Canadian experience? If someone doesn't, take a chance on you, So be ready to, go a bit lower than what you expect. Just because right now, even in Canada, the job outlook, outlook, or what's it called, is not the best. So you must be willing to put in the work, and you must be able to start, with whatever you get. You must be able to start with whatever you get, and which I believe is the strength of immigrants. It's not something so easy to pull up your life and move to somewhere new. But that's our strength as immigrants, because we are able to start over. We're able to start over in a new country where we probably don't know anyone, and we are still able to make do with what we get. And hopefully, the system gets better such that people are able to actually, get good jobs at the point of landing and all that. But right now, that is not the case, So you have to also prepare your mind. So that's basically it. It's a personal decision. Know the reason you are coming here and be prepared for it. If you are doing very well in your home country, maybe you should stay put and wait till maybe the economy is better or something. And if you still make that decision that you're coming to Canada anyways, be prepared to put in the work. And also, if you have that option, it might be a good time to, come in and visit for some time just to see what's up, maybe to also look for a job, and all that before making your final decision, you know. At the end of the day, it's a personal decision. And for me, I would say it's been worth it for me coming to Canada with my family. And I'm forever grateful to God for all the opportunities. That being said, thank you so much for watching so far. If you have any questions, you can drop it in the chat. I'll be looking into the chat now just to see. Yeah, I'll be looking into the chat so you can drop a question. I can see someone said they agree. Yeah, you must know your why. Yeah, exactly. You must know your why. It's a personal decision. Thank you, Emmett Chili. Thank you, Obina. Yeah, it's a very personal decision, and and it's better to come in here as a permanent resident. Yes, that is correct. It is better to come in to Canada as permanent resident. In fact, talking about permanent resident now, a lot of things have changed, and I sometimes I just look at it. It's not worth it coming into Canada as a student right now because things are just changing. And even for students that are currently here, I don't know. I'm not sure how they are managing, So it's not easy. Right now, the best way, if you're coming to Canada, just come in as a permanent resident already. Like, don't do the student route. It's not worth it. But at the end of the day, it's a personal choice, and it's not impossible. Even if you come in as a student, it's not all doom and gloom. It's you know your the opportunity is there, and of course you can make use of it. All right, so that was a very quick one. I don't have any other chats, any other questions in the chat. I can actually check. I wanted to check to see some questions that people drop on my YouTube channel. Maybe I can just respond to those questions right now. Let's see. Let's go to studio. I hope you guys had an awesome year. Anyways, I hope you did have an awesome year. Okay. Imagine while I'm live, I'm editing the live stream on Instagram, so it looks a bit manageable for people watching on Instagram. Okay, so there's this video I made a long time ago about the cost of relocating to Canada, and one comment that I just saw in it is that someone said to write IELTS now is 277,000 in naira. Oh boy. It's unfortunate, but that's the situation. I believe that's because of the foreign exchange rate in Nigeria. I'm sure that's why right now. That's why it's 277. When I wrote IELTS, I think it was about 70K or 40 something thousand. But now that price has has quadrupled. It's crazy. It's crazy, you know. Yeah. Oh, someone commented on this video about skating at Nathan Phillips Square. Yeah, it's a nice place to enjoy the holidays. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. I've responded to all my comments here. I actually take time to respond to all the comments I get. Yeah. I don't get a lot of comments, so I try to make sure I respond to everyone. Thank you. Yeah, Hubina is congratulating me on my citizenship. Thank you. Yes, one day you'd get yours too. One day. Okay, so it's saying that I'm coming in with PR. Any advice for me about employment? Okay, so advice about employment. If you're coming into Canada as a permanent resident, of course, I can advise you on employment, but I would need to know what kind of work experience you have right now, you know. And but a general advice I usually give people that I talk to is that when they are searching for a job, they should not, sorry, excuse me. When they're searching for a job, they should not limit themselves to just one line of job. No, that's not exactly what I mean. When you're searching for a job, you must be able to split your work experience into several different job descriptions. For example, I know that back home in Nigeria, well, for Nigerians watching, I know it's not only Nigerians that watch my videos, but back home, we used to have the way our work is that you realize that you're probably doing the job of multiple people. You're doing a job of two or four more people. You know, you're doing a kind of job that is combined, that has a combination of different job roles. For example, I use myself as an example. From back home, I used to be a personal banker. I used to be a personal banker, what you guys call marketer, right? In Nigeria, it's called I think financial sales rep or financial advisor in Canada. And on that job, I was doing a lot of things. The person that attends to my clients, if my clients come into the branch and they need something done, I attend to them. So maybe a client wants to request for a checkbook, a client wants to, request for their account statement. I help them to do it. Although we have customer service reps that actually get the job done, and that's one part. So I do a bit of customer service. Also, as a personal banker, if my client comes in, I'm the one, and the client wants to, maybe they want to get a loan from the bank. I'm the one that's going to attend to them. I will be the one to prepare their credit. I'll be the one to look at their account statement to see how much they are eligible to collect. So on that same job, I'm a credit officer or a loan officer. Also, on that job, I had three other sales representatives who we call sales agents, direct sales agents who open bank accounts. Right now, when they want to open those bank accounts, I'll be the one to sign off on the fact that we have all the required documentation for the customer. I make sure we have complete KYC for the customer. I'll be the one to verify the customer's address and all that. Now, that's role, a third role on that job. KYC, like a KYC officer, right? In situations where we have some sort of fraud on the client's account, right? I'm the one who the compliance team in the head office would reach out to, to maybe to review the client's account, to maybe write a letter to the client and stuff like that. So I'm also doing some sort of anti-money laundering on that job. So you see that being a personal banker, I already have four different types of jobs that I can apply to in Canada. So when we landed, I was applying to customer service jobs. I was applying to credit officer jobs. I was applying to KYC roles. I was applying to AML roles. That's just an example. So, if you're coming to Canada, look at your work experience and look at what you were doing and try to split it into different roles and apply to those roles. Of course, you're going to have to, make sure your resume is applicable for the jobs you're applying to. So make sure that if you're applying to, for my example, if you're applying to that KYC role, make sure you make more emphasis on the KYC experience of your previous role. So that's one advice I usually give people. Someone else has dropped an advice in the chat that you can also use Chat GPT, to tweak your work experience to see how it fits other jobs. Correct, that makes sense. You do sample resumes with the company you're applying to, with their name in it. So correct. We read it to make sure that you're not sending the same resume, different resume to the same company and all that. Yeah, so that's basically it. You have to be smart about it. You have to be able to split your work experience into different roles, and also you must be able to identify your transferable skills. So, the skills you use in your current job, which of those skills can you take into a different type of job? And that's how it works. That's basically the advice I can give anyone who is coming to Canada when it comes to finding a job. Okay, it has been a really nice time talking to you. I appreciate you watching this video. If you're watching on Instagram, please make sure you also subscribe to my channel on YouTube and follow my Instagram page. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you are following my Instagram account at Mikoko's Diary. It's been an awesome year, and I really appreciate you for your support. I thank you especially for always being there. I know there are some people that actually always watch all my videos and put their comments in my videos. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. I do not take your support for granted. It means a whole lot to me. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next year. I don't think I'll be posting any new videos this year. But in the new year, I'm going to try and, as much as possible, to, make more videos and bring out more videos. And we're going to be having this kind of live stream where we chat like this. Yeah, we'll be having this occasionally. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.